What I'm going to do is just take any old bit. I happen to have a 1/2 inch paddle bit in here, but any bit would work. Going to enlarge a hole a little bit so I can get my jigsaw in here. Okay, and we're just going to cut out this pattern. There we go. And that's just going to stick up above there. Make sure that you have at least 1 or 2 holes in the drain pipe that will stick up above. So I have 5 holes drilled out in this particular one. And like I said, if you want a bed that's a bit drier, you can put 4. So it depends on the crop you're putting in and how dry your area is. So each of the 5 of these will drop down inside these holes, and then the 4-inch ones will be underneath supporting it. Here I have 20 of the 4-inch pieces of drain pipe. I cut a few extra holes in these, spaced out somewhat evenly and distributed throughout the bottom of the horse trough. And I'll be placing the polypropylene top on here. And I would suggest putting this in its final destination. Right now I'm doing this just for video purposes, but I would suggest putting it in its final destination when you go to do this, so the bottom pieces don't move around. Once you start nice tight fit. Looks like that will work. And then I'll be putting the 6-inch pieces in. Like so. That's nice and solid. Now we have a couple other things that we have to do. We have to drill a drain hole in here, and we have to also put a water source. What I've done here is cut a 24-inch piece of 1.5-inch EMT pipe. It's electrical plastic conduit. You can use PVC just as well. The reason I use the gray is because there'll be a portion sticking up above. This is going to go down flush. It will go down that deep. But it's exposed to the sun, and so this is made to be out in the sun. And then you just need to determine, this is going to be your fill tube, and the reason we're using 1.5-inch, you could use either end. I'm going to use the flared end just because the wider it is, the easier it is to stick your garden hose down in here. Determine where it is that you're going to want your fill tube. It can be located anywhere, preferably an easy location for the layout that you have. I'm going to trace a circle around the edge, cut that out with the jigsaw, and that is going to go down all the way down to the bottom. And to assist the water flow as it comes out, I'll be drilling several holes around the end so the water. So this is my 24-inch piece of fill pipe. I'm going to mark a few marks around here at 4 inches. So that I know that I need to drill my holes below that point. I'm using a 1/2 inch bit. You can use whatever you want. And I'm going to drill several of these. And that's probably going to be fine right here. Okay. So you can see I got several holes drilled through here. I'll just clean those up a little bit, but the water should flow out of here pretty easily. What we're going to do is we're going to drill a 1/2 inch hole, drain hole, 4.5 inches up from the bottom. And you want to locate that close to where your fill tube is going to be located so you can see it draining. In my particular case, on this end is where I'm going to be putting my fill tube, and really don't want it right at the end, but I can see the spot right over here real easy from where I'm going to be filling. So we're going to put a mark 4.5 inches from the bottom, which I just pre-marked here, and then we're going to make a punch in there. I have a little smaller drill to start with, drill bit. Okay. Graduate to the bigger one. 3/8 there, which is really probably big enough anyway. And I'll place this on some pavers, because if the horse trough is not sitting in water exposed to the air, you're less likely to get rust. So now we have our polypropylene pegboard sheet. We're going to sit down inside here, and I'm going to hold on that side. Good fit there. Okay, might have to move things around a little bit, but looks like that should fit. Here are the longer pieces, the 6-inch pieces. We're going to set those in there. I made sure that there's a hole drilled near the top that sticks above the top. What I'm going to do here is something a little bit different. You don't know exactly how much wicking is going to occur, so you may only need 4 of these instead of 5 of these. But to dig the dirt out after the fact and to drill a hole is a big pain, because you have to take all the dirt out, cut your hole, and then put a new one in. So what I'm going to do is, I already put it in here. I'm just going to put a cap on it like that, and then if it's not wet enough and I need to do another one, I can just dig out around here, pull the cap off, put the dirt back, and we'll go. Of course, on the fill tube, I drilled some holes down below, so when I go to fill it, it'll be real easy. Garden hose will go right in this 1.5 inch PVC pipe, and I made it to where I can just bring the garden hose from the outside of the fence and easily reach it. We have our drain hole right here. You can See, it's right at the level of this pegboard poly. What I'm going to do here for my soil mixture is I'm going to use 1/3 topsoil mixture, 1/3 peat moss, and 1/3 vermiculite. Now when it comes to the 1/3 vermiculite, I'm going to mix that actually as 2 parts vermiculite to 1 part perlite. The difference between the two is the vermiculite wicks the water, perlite retains the water. So 1/3 topsoil mixture. As part of that, I may put in a little bit of my organic compost in there. 1/3 peat moss, 1/3 between the vermiculite and perlite, with 2 parts of it being vermiculite, 1 part perlite. It's going to take about 5 wheelbarrows to fill up a horse trough. What I'm going to do here for my soil mixture is I'm going to use 1/3 topsoil mixture, 1/3 peat moss, and 1/3 vermiculite. Now when it comes to the 1/3 vermiculite, I'm going to mix that actually as 2 parts vermiculite to 1 part perlite. The difference between the two is the vermiculite wicks the water, perlite retains the water. So 1/3 topsoil mixture. As part of that, I may put in a little bit of my organic compost in there. 1/3 peat moss, 1/3 between the vermiculite and perlite, with 2 parts of it being vermiculite, 1 part perlite. It's going to take about 5 wheelbarrows to fill up a horse trough. One of those. Peat moss, they really pack in there tight. This time, I'll use one of the vermiculite. Okay. Now, one of these. One of the peat moss. This is number 2 course on the vermiculite, which is sort of pricey. A lot more than the perlite. Now this time, I'm going to use one of the perlite. And that's going to be my mixture. I'm going to go through a whole sequence just like that. And of course this will all get mixed up. And we'll do a few milliliters of mixture. And just go ahead and put it in. Just like so. Takes quite a bit of water the first time,